Jose Altuve hits a grand slam. The Astros take the lead. But then we know what happened next. We're going to talk about the Astros grabbing defeat out of the jaws of victory on this edition of Locked On Astros.
Alvarez hits a high drive center field. Beer leans back. This game is turned upside down. There's the runner. Fly ball down the right field line. Tucker comes on. Kyle Tucker. This time they finish the job.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we update you joins for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You find me on Twitter at Eric Talk Stros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can they find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. They can find me at Stros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, always Stros.
Today's episode is brought to you by Bird Dogs. Go to birddogs.com/LockedOnMLB, and when you enter the promo code LockedOnMLB, they'll throw in a free custom Bird Dogs Yeti style tumbler with every order. And thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Go ahead and become an everydayer. Go and subscribe to us on YouTube and just listen to us every day. Just go and choose us on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Just go ahead and check us out. So there's a lot for us to discuss today. I know Brett already talked about the fact that the Astros lost this game. It was one of those games that was, you had a victory, you thought, and then Ryan Pressly, he did something he didn't do a lot of this year. We'll talk about Jose Altuve's grand slam, how big a moment that was. France, it wasn't his best game, but he fought. And then Bryan Abreu, what the heck is going on up with him? Then we'll take a look at what's going on for game 2. So Brett, to get the show started, let's go ahead and talk about the fact that the Astros are now 0-3 in extra innings games. That sucks, especially after what we saw in last year's playoffs with all the extra inning games. The Astros better improve upon that.
Yeah, that is right. And you couldn't more aptly stated a need for this team, because prior to the Altuve grand slam, we'll talk about that, prior to Bryan Abreu even getting in the game and having a second straight game where he kind of gave up some stuff or didn't look great, the Astros just didn't get the job done, and they put themselves behind the 8 ball. And another reason why I don't like the runner on second, I think it puts undue pressure on the relief pitcher, no matter who it is, whether it's our guy on second or their guy on second. Just to me, it's just not baseball. It's an added rule to shorten the game, and I don't like that. I don't like how you tinker with the ins and the outs of the game. Now, I'm not saying if the guy wasn't on second that the home run doesn't leave the ballpark, but I was at this game and I watched this game and I watched this offense just miss opportunity after opportunity because they went down early, Eric. They gave up 3 runs in the second. You know, JP France, we'll talk about him in a second, gave up the 4 runs. But this offense in the 3rd and 4th inning had a chance to scratch across 4 or even 5 runs. They came out with 1 run. So when you're down 4-1 coming out of the 4th inning, you got 2 innings in a row where you put guys on base and you're leaving them on base. That's not a recipe for success. So I think it starts and ends with the offense, what they didn't do early on, put undue pressure on Pressly and the bullpen. So it's not fully on the back end guys. Baseball is truly a team sport. You win as a team, you lose as a team. And they clearly did not all do their part when they were called upon. But Sonny Gray, you can't discredit him. He only had 3 strikeouts, but watching that game, you would have thought he had 15 strikeouts because the Astros bats were absolutely silent outside of a couple hits here or there.
If I'm a Twins fan, I would actually be questioning manager for taking him out at only 79 pitches. This is one of the best pitchers in baseball. And I believe Gray, you can see him mouth, "You got to be kidding me. as he was as the manager started marching to the mound. Yes, the Astros have a history of success in the late innings, 7, 8, 9. They tend to score a lot of runs, but Sonny Gray was making the hitters look bad. Yes, he did have a walk in that inning, and Abreu technically should have struck out. He got some Abreu got some favorable calls in that situation. 2 of those should have been strikes, but I don't want to. It's typically going the other way against the Astros, so I'm not going to make too big a deal there. But I thought they had too quick a hook on Sonny Gray there. Stewart has had a great season, and but Sonny Gray has not given up a home run all year. I would have kept him in that situation and to avoid what happened there, because Altuve is not going to hit a home run probably off Sonny Gray. But if you bring in somebody from the bullpen, I think that's going to happen. So let's go ahead and move on to Jose Altuve hitting that home run. And how big is that situation? It was his 7th career Grand Slam. Last time he did it was on 7/30/21 at San Francisco. It's the 3rd by Astros player this season. Guess who the other 2 were?
Who's that?
I'm pretty sure they're both by Alvarez, right? Or no, I don't someone
know.
Else had one, right? I don't know. Anyway, but he also surpassed 700 career RBIs with the Grand Slam, giving him a 702. And he is the 8th player in franchise history to surpass the 70 career RBIs. This is what Dusty Baker had to say. Boy, that was a big home run Altuve hit. We were hoping to get some more because those guys are trying to steal first place in their division. This was a ball game. We just came up on the short end. The last person to hit a grand slam with the when they're trailing by 3 runs in the 7th inning or later, you know who that player was?
Who?
Brian Bogusevic. He did it back in 2011 on August 26th. So this is a rare occasion that you hit a grand slam so late in game. You would thought that with the Astros' great bullpen that they would have held it, but we'll talk about Ryan Presley in a little bit. But what he did was very rare.
Yeah, exactly. So Altuve is on a 7-game hitting streak, I believe. Yeah. He, since going 0 for 4 on May 19th, he is 11 for 31, Eric. He's hitting .355. He has 1 home run, 6 RBI, 5 walks. He has 3 doubles. Total bases 20 and scored 7 runs. So Jose Altuve's come back, and he's been every bit of Jose Altuve. They have missed this. If they would have had his bat the last couple months, I really think it would be the difference of them being first or the Rangers being first. I really do. And look, I know there's a lot of talk about respect for the Rangers and all that stuff, and I get it. And they're scoring a lot of runs, and they beat the Tigers today, and now I think they're 3.5 up because the Astros lost. But at the end of the day, when you've got Altuve, when you've got Tucker, when you've got Yordan, when you've got Pena, when you've got Dubon, I mean, do I need to keep going down? When you got Myers who's hitting, when you've got McCormick who can come up and hit, when you've got Bregman, I just don't think with our guys, even France, even Belak, we've got Hunter Brown. I'll talk about him when we talk about FanDuel later. I mean, he's one of the top rookies. Jose Altuve, his presence is making a difference. And that was a playoff type atmosphere. You know, when you go back and look at that inning starts with Kyle Tucker double. Jose Abreu walks. They do the pitching change. Jake Myers gets called out on strike. You're like, dang it, okay, 1 out. Mauricio Dubon singles, okay? Martin Maldonado strikes out. You're like 2 outs. Altuve gets up. Okay, well, it's Altuve, right? Who they call the King of New York, the son of Houston. Boom, grand slam. Then, Jeremy Pena looked like he was swinging for the fences. He swung. He hit that ball straight up in the air. He wanted a home run so bad. But when they went up 5-4, you were like, okay, we got this. Like, they basically grabbed the victory, put it in the bag. They were put on their shoulder. They were about to leave the stadium. But you still have to finish the game. You still have to finish the process. I mean, Hector Neris came in and started out well, you know. He struck out Kepler. He struck out Jeffers. Then Willie Castro gets up in singles. Castro steals second. And then, look, Donovan flies out. He gets out of the inning. You're like, okay, 3 outs. We get out of the inning, up 5-4. Now, we just got to finish the deal. They just didn't. That's why I go back to the third, the fourth, and the fifth inning. Let's say they make this 9 runs. Let's say that grand slam makes it a 9-run game. We win this game 9-5 because that fifth run, that solo shot in the 9th inning, doesn't mean anything when you've got that many runs on the board. Now, it is good that they did score these runs because after a double-digit win, we typically have 0 runs. So it was nice, but it's not getting the job done. And the Astros weren't satisfied, I promise you, with the result today.
All right. I know you're not the biggest Rangers fan, but they are 34-19. It's not smoke and mirrors. They have the biggest run differential in baseball with a 128. And the Rays have the next highest and 119. The next highest team behind them is the Astros at 51. So, and if you're looking at all the rankings, they are ranked number 2 in baseball. So if you're looking at FanDuel, what they're going to talk about, I think that they're probably giving the Rangers the higher odds probably at this time.
They might be, but the Rangers have had one of the weakest schedules in all of baseball. They've beat up on a bunch of feeble teams. So let me tell you about FanDuel. FanDuel is to make every moment even more with FanDuel.com/lockedon. Trust me, go to FanDuel. It is the place to go. It is the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. And let me tell you, if you're looking at the odds of Rookie of the Year, Hunter Brown is number 2. Number 2. That's right, 5.5 to 1 odds to win Rookie of the Year. And let me tell you, it's not even close with him and the others. He's got one person in front of him. And I think Hunter Brown stands a very good chance of winning Rookie of the Year, especially if he continues on his trajectory. So go to FanDuel.com today and check it out. They have the latest odds. They have a great website. And what they have for new customers is the no sweat first bet up to $2,500. That's $2,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. So if you bet on the Astros today to win, if you bet on the Astros today to win and you lost that bet, they would give you $2,500 back in bonus bets. That's right. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get the no sweat first bet, which is $2,500. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Eric, this game today, your guys came in, they did what you thought they had to do to win the game. And I kind of want to piggyback off what you said with the Rangers. Look, I'm not disrespecting the Rangers fully, but I'm also not buying the hype right now because if you look at their opponents, they have played a lot of weak teams. Their schedule's getting tougher. They did seem to handle the Orioles pretty well, which was impressive. I just think in the long run, I don't see the Rangers sustaining what they have going for them. The Astros, again, are going to have a tough road. And look, the Rangers may still be in it come July or August. But at the end of the day, you've got the experience. I like the horses in our stable a lot better than I like what the Rangers have. I'm not buying the run differential. I'm not as hyped on that because of the teams they've beaten and how they've beaten them. You know, they've throttled their opponents. They've throttled their lesser opponents. They've had a lot of 10-run games or double-digit outputs, a lot more than the Astros. So maybe there is something to it. I personally am just not going to buy it. And the Astros play the Twins on Tuesday night at 7:10 Central Standard Time. Catch every pitch of the Astros hometown broadcast, Sparky and Ford, on the Sirius XM app. Search the SXM app and then search Astros. And eventually you'll be able to catch all the Locked On Astros podcast on the Sirius XM app. Check them out today.
All right, let's talk about the battle for France. In this game, it was a situation where France gave up a ugly home run. When I say ugly, it wasn't a no-doubter. It wasn't one that it looked like it was going to be a foul ball. It hit the top of the wall and then kind of it was a cheap shot, and it still counted as a home run, but it's Royce Lewis's home run, and it was a 3-run shot. I believe it was a walk that allowed the first runner to get on base, and it was a single. Carlos Correa was on base. I remember that, but unfortunately, France allowed another run later in the game, but he did pitch 6 innings, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts, which ties a career high. So his ERA through, I believe, 6 starts right now is 4. So that 5 major league starts. And so his whip is 1.30. And so this is second time he's had 8 strikeouts, and he's gone into the 6th inning 3 times in his 5 starts. So that says he's probably not a number 1 starter, but he's probably a number 3 or 4 starter.
Yeah, I think he's more of a back end guy, especially with our guys. JP, no offense, isn't going to be higher than a 4 to 5 starter in this rotation. I mean, there's no way he leapfrogs Garcia. There's no way he even leapfrogs Urquidy. I just think Urquidy's playoff experience. But JP France, give him credit. He went longer than most guys would, giving up 4 runs. His stuff, at times is hittable, but remember, his breaking pitches don't break the way. It's well below the league average. It's the invisibility of the ball when it comes out of his hand. But he has been hittable, but he's been sustainable. It's been bearable. Even though it was 4-1, that game could have easily been 6-4. And we're talking about a JP France victory at the end of the day versus a JP France defeat. So sometimes even the pitcher giving up 4 runs means that he just didn't have enough support behind him. But, I like what JP's giving him. JP has got a lot on his shoulders. I mean, think about it. Garcia and Urquidy are down. That is a lot to put on Bielak. That is a lot to put on JP. And that's why it's important. And you talked about it because I was at the game. Ronel Blanco struck out 9, which is a career high for him in a game, went the longest he's ever gone in a game, and they're trying to stretch him out. Blanco will be here, I believe, sooner rather than later, because you had talked about on the last show about how they're looking at doing a 6-man rotation. And that's why JP France, Brandon Bielak, it is important that they go in there and that they extend themselves and they save the bullpen, So I just love that. When we talk about the game 2 preview, I definitely want us to hit on something I saw about Framber Valdez this week, because I know he's going to be, I believe he's going to be one of the pitchers that's going to, is it? No? Oh, you know what? No. He doesn't go to the Angels. Okay. We'll talk about that when we preview the Angels series, but Framber Valdez has got a pretty historic thing going on for himself. But JP France, look, tough game, but he battled. I like that word. He battled today. He didn't give up. He is a grinder, and I think those years in the minors really helped him shape his character, and he doesn't seem to get rattled, which I really like.
Yeah, and he's doing what the Astros need, eat up innings, and I think that what we saw today from Ryan Pressly is something that we haven't seen in 28 consecutive saves, including the playoffs. And then it was his former team that beat him. And I mean, they didn't beat him technically, but they went ahead and broke up the save process. And I think it was Royce Lewis that did it. So Royce Lewis may become Astros nemesis. So if we play them enough, maybe that we play them again in playoffs, but who knows, that they've never been anything in playoffs. And right now they're kind of in Comedy Central. Like I talked about, the Tigers are in second place right now, 2 games below 500. So that just shows how bad the AL Central is. But the Astros are in a very competitive division right now. I mean, if you look at the Mariners, they have a whole bunch of pitchers that are in the top 50 in FWAR. And so it's amazing how good their pitching is, but their hitting is just not living up to its full potential. And then you have the Angels that are finally starting to do a little bit better. I know their record is not doing good. If we get a chance, we'll talk about where we think we rank all the teams so far. But it just sucks that Ryan Pressly, of all the days, like, you could have been riding this high after this Jose Altuve home run. And no, I'm not going to do what you think I'm going to do and say, let's trade Ryan Pressly. No, Ryan Pressly is a great closer.
I would never think you would say it. Why would you?
No,
Eric?
There's people on Facebook, they are like, oh, well, we need a closer. He sucks.
No offense, but I'm just going to.
I'm kidding, Facebook people.
I'm not. I'm sorry, Facebook guys. We got to do better. I see some of the worst takes on Facebook. Now, I'm not saying Twitter. Look, People on Twitter think that they're king and they kind of have this elitist mentality. And if you're on Twitter, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So yes, I'm calling you out. I call myself out. But Facebook gets pretty bad. I'm wondering if people are watching the game because it is some weird takes. Like you need to send Abreu down to the minors to work on a swing. He doesn't have options, folks. That's not even a possibility. Presley hasn't had a blown save in forever.
Yeah, 28
This
games,
is
like
not.
Yeah.
Look, this is not okay. Yes, it's on Presley. Yes, it's on Abreu because at the time it was their job to save. It was their job to sustain that lead, right? But it should have never been in their hands to begin with. Presley, when he got that walk, when they weren't chasing. So look, here's the deal. When batters aren't chasing his hook, when they're not chasing that curve or the slider or whatever he throws off speed, it typically doesn't go well for Presley, I've noticed. And I'm sure you've noticed the same thing. There are days, Eric, when he throws that hook and you know it's not even going to land anywhere near the strike zone. It's going to be almost in the dirt, and those guys swing and miss after it. Like they go crazy after it, right? Today, they were just watching it. They knew he was going to be hitting that dirt. They knew that it was going to be bouncing. And so, look, he had to come in and sustain that one-run lead, and he simply didn't. And that's the toughest part of a closer role. It's like a kicker in football. It's such a microcosm of the game, and it's so narrow that one little mistake can screw up a whole game, okay? Yeah. And that's why I say it's a team game, and I'll end with this, and that's why I think it's so important that we don't forget the third, fourth, and fifth inning, because I was like, why can't we score a run? I was like, oh, that's right, we scored double digits the day before. That was my mindset the whole time until Altuve launched that ball into the Crawford boxes. By the way, can we talk about that grand slam again? Can I show the folks live footage from the game of that Jose Altuve grand slam? You want to see it, Eric?
Sure.
All right, let's check it out. This is from the club section in left field. Jose Altuve at the plate.
Way too close a look at you, Brett. Way too close a look.
Whoa. A face only a mother could love, right? Hey, my mom's watching, by the way. Hey, Mom, I'm on TV.
Yeah, guys, we'll talk a little bit about Bryan Abreu in a second, but don't forget that the Astros played the Twins Tuesday night at 7:10 p.m. Central Time. So catch every pitch of the Astros hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search Astros. And like Brett said earlier, pretty soon all the Locked On Astros podcasts or any Locked On show will be available also on SiriusXM. But don't forget to make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, and go and subscribe to us on YouTube as well. So Bryan Abreu, somebody has broken Bryan Abreu. I don't know who. If we figure it out, we're going to have to talk to him and have some words with him. But this is his second straight game where he hasn't been Mr. Dominant, Mr. Just like punch him in the face and strike him out and everything like that. And this was a game where he had 3 strikeouts, but he also allowed 2 hits, 2 runs, a home run. His ERA on the season is still 2.49, but it's rapidly climbing a little bit. So
wait, hold on. Are you losing faith in Bryan Abreu?
No, everybody's everybody's entitled to bad games, but
thank you. Okay.
Altuve hits a freaking grand slam to give you the lead in the 7th inning.
Let me remind you that Abreu should have never been in that position in the first place. Okay.
Yada yada.
Yeah. This isn't Seinfeld. All right. This isn't Seinfeld, but seriously, Bryan Abreu. Oh, there you go. Bryan Abreu got out of a out of the bases loaded against the Blue Jays. That's right. Yeah. Take that, Eric. No, I'm joking. Eric the Man Huysman. Hey, the Bryan Abreu you hate will not be listened to on this show. Look, a relief pitcher of his magnitude, he throws heat.
Right.
Okay, hold on. Can we somehow kidnap Duran from the Twins and just put him on our team? Did you see that guy throwing absolute smoke today?
Yeah, I mean,
and the reason why I mentioned that, hold on. The reason why I mentioned that is because Bryan Abreu plated an 88-mile-an-hour off-speed pitch over the heart of the plate and made Jeffers look like a home run derby contestant. Okay, look, I'm just telling you, American League, put this kid in the home run derby. He crushed that ball. If that's what they're going to be serving him in the home run derby, Jeffers is going to be hitting him out of T-Mobile Field or Chaz Field, or whatever they call it in Seattle. But he absolutely was a pro's pro. He was like, you know what? You're gonna give me a buffet. I'm gonna eat. That ball was a laser. I really thought Mike Trout or Fernando Tatis Jr. hit that ball. It was crushed. And when he got to first, that dude jumped. And look, I'm not saying I love when opponents get one over on us, but I was like, that kid just hit the ball of his life.
Yeah.
Why Abreu isn't starting with heat high to get him swinging and missing, I don't know. Why you don't think they're coming out attacking with a guy on second? I think with the guy on second, your mentality should always be they are going to be swinging early. Okay? And so that was the mistake. The mistake was because after you see Duran, dude, you're talking about Abreu like missing all the pitches thrown at him. His first 8 pitches, his 2 slowest pitches were 99 miles an hour. He was throwing 102, 103, 102, 101, 100. He was blazing them.
Yeah.
Absolutely blazing them. And that's why I was like, Bryan, why didn't you start with the heat? Why did you start with the slow hook? I just, oh, man,
maybe
that was
because that's what you expect. And that he was just trying to do something.
You're right. And maybe but look, so a hitter goes up in that situation and they are expecting a fastball, but they're looking for something breaking. Okay. And when they see something breaking, they're not sitting on it. They're going to hit it because they know it's going to be coming slower. It's either 97 or 88. What do you think that bat's going to catch up to better? 88. So he was expecting a fastball. He was looking for a breaking pitch, and he freaking got it. That's what Altuve did. Altuve was sitting on that pitch, and that's why he hit the grand slam. Altuve was sitting on the slider against Aroldis Chapman. That's why he crushed it against the Yankees in the ALCS. He was expecting a fastball, but he was like, okay, a fastball's coming, but I'm expecting a hook. And what did he get? He got a hook. Boom.
Yeah.
So that was just a great battle for the batter that won. Abreu should have never been throwing that ball 88 miles an hour over the heart of the plate.
All right. Yes.
Sorry.
Duran actually threw the ball 103 miles per hour to Jose Abreu. He got a single off of it. And that's actually the 4th fastest pitch anybody has had a base hit off of in the pitch tracking error. And the other 3 people did it off Aroldis Chapman at 104.2 miles per hour. So it's just amazing. So this guy is doing pretty good. And I know that Abreu, it's only 1 single, but we saw him make some hard hit contact in this game. We saw him with some good, like somebody made a great play. The second baseman made a great leaping play to catch one of his line drives. He made a deep drive to right center field, I believe it was, and then he got the single. So I'm not saying he's totally fixed, but I think we see him making some positive strides. And so
I agree with you. I think, Eric, I really think he is trending in the right direction. And with as much vitriol that he's gotten from the fan base, I think when he does the job well, I think they need to be willing to acknowledge it because, again, I would like to see you go out and do it. And yeah, we're going to criticize from time to time, but that's kind of what we do, right? That's we comment on games. But look at this. I'm putting this up here real quick for the fans to see this. These are his hardest pitches he threw today. 103.6, 103.4, 103.3, 103.1, and 102.6. I was like, how do we get Duran on this team? Can Minnesota just be out of it? Can we trade for this guy? Like this?
They're in first place right now. So, and they're not
I
going
know
to trade for
first place. No, I'm just joking. No, I was just because I was like salivating. I was like, oh my God, this dude's amazing.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, dude, why couldn't we win this game, man? Eric, it felt like a playoff game, man. It felt good. You're like, Altuve's back. Watch out, Major League Baseball. We're coming back. And
if you're over your man crush there, can we go ahead and move on? Because you know what,
dude, Altuve is every's man crush.
No,
bro.
I'm talking about Duran.
Oh, Duran, yeah. Oh, dude.
So moving on, Brett. So we don't want to get you back drooling, but I think tomorrow's game is a guaranteed win because you got some guy on mound for the Twins called Joe Ryan. I mean, what a weird name. He's 7-1 with a 2.21 ERA, 70 strikeouts, and 60 innings. He's not any good, is he? Right? So yes.
No, he's not. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, you're being sarcastic. Yeah. Well, look, he has two first names. He has two first names, and we should beat him for that. That should be twice the reason to beat Joe Ryan, the Houston Astros, because who do we counter Joe Ryan with, Eric?
Brandon Belak. Sometimes it
be like that. Jinx.
Yes. So
he's me a Coke.
He's 1-2 with a 3.55 ERA, 22 strikeouts. So if you're looking at who's had success against him, against Joe Ryan, Alvarez has a home run in 5 at-bats, batting 200. Must have been a grand slam, maybe, because there's 4 RBIs there. And then Pena has 2 RBIs and batting 250 against him. So we'll see what happens in tomorrow's game. But I know Sonny Gray was really dominating the game today, and I still think that the manager pulled him out a little bit too soon. I think he could have let him get out of that 2 out with 2 runners on mess. I think he has the stuff to do it. But if you have a bullpen, especially a guy like they brought in today, I could see why. But Sonny Gray was just like, you kidding me? And so I think it kind of really gave away. So, but don't forget that if you can't watch the show or listen to the show on the radio, go ahead and check out Sirius XM. They play the Twins Tuesday night, 7:10, first pitch. So catch every pitch of the Astros hometown broadcast with Sirius XM on the SXM app. Just search Astros and you'll be able to listen to it. It's pretty awesome. Listen to it anywhere. So, Brett, any closing thoughts?
Yeah, man, to wrap us up, Eric, the Tuve giveaway winner will be announced tomorrow night. And tomorrow night, I will be announcing a giveaway for 2 tickets to Thursday's Astros game, where they're giving away to all fans the Alex Bregman jumping throw bobblehead. So I've got 2 tickets to give away. I'll announce that giveaway tomorrow night. Let's go ahead and roll the music, and I will announce the Tuve giveaway winner tomorrow. Thank y'all for tuning in to Locked On Astros. We are winners because y'all are winners, no matter if the Astros win or lose. He's Eric, the man Huysman. Find him at Eric Talk Stros. I'm H-Town Wheelhouse. You can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse. And make sure you subscribe to us. Tell your friends and family to watch us. We are your team every single day. What do you say, Eric?
Go Astros.
That's right. Don't give up on Abreu, Eric.